Hello and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make falafel with sun-dried tomato hummus, a chocolate mousse, and maybe if we've got time we'll make some aquafaba mayonnaise, which would make the pita and falafel completely vegan. So we'll start with the falafel. Chop up an onion. Just a medium to small sized onion. The measurements in falafel aren't particularly important. There or thereabouts is good enough. This is the only chopping I'll be having to do. So it's not particularly small, just ordinary chopping. Now, hopefully you've got a food processor. If you haven't, you'll need to chop these really small, really fine, because raw onion is quite strong. If you've got a food processor, pop that in a bowl. If you haven't, carry on chopping and then pop it into a mixing bowl. And when you've chopped the onion really small, we need to add the other ingredients. So we've got a tin of chickpeas, or I'll often cook up a whole packet of chickpeas and freeze them in tin-sized portions, which is what this is, which I'll use for the hummus. So we need to drain those. And the juice is aquafaba, and you can use that for lots and lots of different things. So we'll put that in the processor. Now we add some garlic. I tend to use this pre-chopped stuff. I like it quite garlicky, so I'll add quite a lot. About a clove is usual, but any amount that you like. And we need some spices, and you can use any spice that you like, but the classic combination is cumin and ginger, equal quantities, so about that much, about a teaspoon of each one. You can add paprika, turmeric, pinch of chilli, fresh ginger or dried ginger, amchur, which is green mango, which gives you a nice fruity flavour, anything that you like really. And what else do we add? A tablespoon of flour. And I add that to help them to stick together when they're frying. So pop that in. Anything else? A little bit of lemon. So we'll have a lemon that we're going to use for the falafel, but we can put some of that in as well. On. Give it all a good munch. We'll probably need to push it down a bit so it all goes up the sides. If you haven't got a processor, mash your chickpeas with a fork. they've still got a bit of texture, but that's how I like them. If you like them really smooth, keep going until they're smooth. I'll just put a frying pan on low. So you need a little bit of flour in a dish to coat them. A little bit of salt. I'll put a bit of salt in there actually. A little bit of pepper. Put some pepper in there. I need to mix that up again. Now we just need to take walnut sized portions and just squish them together with your hand. And coat them with flour. The flour gives them a nice crispy outside. These are lovely in lunch boxes and things, in sandwiches even. So if you're doing them, you could do extra and freeze them or keep them in the fridge for a few days. Flavour them in different ways. You could use Thai curry paste or a bit of Balti paste or tandoori spice powder. I know it's all very fusion, but who cares? Just do whatever you think tastes nice. You could add a big splodge of tomato puree, some miso. Make them very lemony with a whole lemon zest, possibly some juice as well. You could whiz in some green peas. You could make them with beans, not chickpeas. If you get the cheapest tin of baked beans you can find and rinse off the sauce, that's the cheapest way of buying beans, and you can use them for anything that you would use beans for, including something like this. Maybe not call them falafel, who knows? Call them something else. Beanie fritters. I'm getting covered. Flour everywhere. The last bit is going to be a bigger one, and that has made, what was it, 29, 11. Right, I'm just going to rinse my hands. Now put some oil in your frying pan. Pop your falafel in. Your procedure for the hummus is very similar. You just pop everything in a bowl or a food processor and whiz it together. So if you've got no food processor, again, mash up your chickpeas as fine as you can get them. So here's my pre-cooked ones I had in the freezer. They go in the food processor, along with 125 ml of olive oil. can use less if you like, completely up to you. The zest and juice of that lemon. The zest is particularly flavoursome. No lemon should be left unzested. So that's the zest. Now we'll get the juice out. Pour that in. And the other half. If you've ever had hummus in Greece, you'll probably notice how much more lemony and how much more garlicky it is than the stuff that we can buy here. Speaking of which, garlic, nice blob, good tablespoon if not more. And if you're doing the sun-dried tomato version, you can usually buy them ready hydrated in a supermarket, but I like to buy them in big kilo packets from Healthy Supplies. They come like this, where they're really dry and they're salted so they keep forever. And if you're going to use them, you have to soak them in water to rehydrate them because they're really tough. They'd be like eating cardboard. So this is some I put on to soak last night, so I'll just put some of those in. Now I won't put any salt in because the tomatoes are quite salty. If you're not using tomatoes, put a little bit of salt in, about half a teaspoon. Then we just munch it all together. That's about right, lovely. So I'll put that in a little bowl. As you can see, that makes enough for lots of sandwiches and pita fillings and on top of a jacket potato. I've even had it in pasta, that was really nice. Right, that's ready, we'll leave that. We'll just check the falafel and turn them over. Turn them up a little bit. I'll just sprinkle a little bit more oil on. While they're finishing, we'll do the ice cream. So we need to whip some cream. You don't need to whip it, but if you do, it increases the volume. Use a stick blender. I use my stick blender every day. Very, very useful piece of equipment. So I've whipped the cream till it holds its shape. You don't want to go any more than that. Much more than that, you'll start getting little granulated bits of butter in there, which you don't really want. Now, some people use just cream. I like to use some thick yoghurt in with mine. I like the tang, and it does help reduce the fat a little bit, although if you're going to eat this, it's not a dish for dieters. So it's roughly an equal amount. The falafel is smelling hot. I'll just check those. They're coming along nicely. You can add all kinds of things to this ice cream. It doesn't need a machine. It's actually my ice cream recipe, which I just pop in the freezer. No need to use an ice cream machine. It's also nice, particularly with the chocolate one, because it goes nice and thick to have as a mousse, which is what we're going to do today, because obviously we haven't got time to freeze it. And you can add all kinds of different flavours to it. And some people use just whipping cream and a jar of jam. You can have freeze-dried fruit powders, which I get from Healthy Supplies online from Brighton. Lemon zest and lemon juice. I can't think what it's called. Date molasses. All kinds of things. Whatever goes nice with cream. It doesn't tend to work terribly well with fresh fruit because that's a little bit wet. So you need something a little bit stronger. What am I looking for? Looking for my sieve and the cocoa. We need 60 grams of cocoa, and it really needs to be sieved, because if there's any lumps in the cocoa, it's impossible to get them out. Put that on there. Grams. Push that through the sieve. Stir that through. Be gentle at first because it tends to puff up. Just cutting it in. Now we can go a bit firmer. And just literally just stir until it's all stirred together, and you can see, I think, how that's gone much thicker. That's the cocoa. I'll put that in a little dish, or some of it. There's at least another 2 portions in the bowl. That would probably do 4 if you shared it out at the same time. So now we assemble our lunch. Pita bread. Some I put in the freezer. I'll just warm that for 10 seconds in the microwave. That just softens it and allows you to open up a pocket. That's all that does. I'll make a little bit of mayonnaise in mine. Oh, I didn't add the condensed milk. I should really have added this earlier. Forgot about it. Condensed milk. You don't have to use condensed milk, you can add a little bit of sugar. And the texture of the condensed milk does make it quite nice. About half a tin. Stir that through. I've got 4 little dishes here, which is what this amount serves. You could add some chopped strawberries in the bottom or on the top. You could sprinkle with toasted almonds. You could put some orange zest in, or lemon, or lime, come to that. You could stir peanut butter through, or any kind of chopped nuts. Anything that you think will taste nice. I can't actually eat chocolate, it gives me a migraine, but my husband loves this, and we usually have a pot of it stashed away in the freezer. So that's our chocolate mousse done. Now we assemble the falafel, and I like a little bit of mayonnaise in mine. In a minute I'm going to show you how to use some of that aquafaba from the tin of chickpeas to make some mayonnaise. So just spread that on the inside. Get a couple of falafel. It's looking really nice. Pop some lettuce, if you have any. It doesn't matter if you don't, they're just as nice. Put the falafel in. Got cherry tomatoes in the greenhouse, so I'd add a couple here. And a nice dollop more hummus on top. Lovely. There we have it. Falafel and sun-dried tomato hummus. Doesn't that look nice? So now I'm going to show you how to make mayonnaise. First time I tried this, I used all of the aquafaba from the tin of chickpeas, but it made almost 2 jars full, which is too much in one go. So really what you need is the equivalent of an egg, about 3 tablespoons. So I need my jug and the tablespoon of the aquafaba. So about 3 tablespoons, which is about the equivalent volume of an egg. And then a tablespoon of white wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar, or any vinegar except malt, really. A little bit of salt. Not much. A few shakes of pepper. And some mustard. Just got the last of this Dijon. Any mustard is fine. Just gives it that vinegary, mustardy flavour. And then you need a neutral oil. I tend to use rapeseed oil because it's good for omega-3s. But any neutral oil, not olive oil, strangely, because that will make it really bitter and unpleasant. And you want about 250 ml. You can use a liquidizer for this. You can use a whisk. It takes a while and it's very hard work. I'm just going to pop this in with the cream because I'm not a vegan, but normally you would use a clean one. And you just do that and then add a little oil, a couple of tablespoons. And repeat. This is just starting to emulsify now. The aquafaba and the mustard are both emulsifiers, which is what makes it all mix together and go a little bit thick. You can add a lot more oil than 250 ml, same as you can with an egg mayonnaise. It's just a convenient amount, really. Aquafaba mayonnaise. You can see how thick that is. It's really tasty. That'll keep in a clean jam jar in the fridge for a week or 10 days. So you don't want a massive batch and it doesn't freeze. So about this much is about right. And if it looks like you're not going to use it, it's really just oil, so just use it where you would use oil, really. It's fine. And so there we have it. Falafel and sun-dried tomato hummus, chocolate mousse, nice big dish with sun-dried tomato hummus to use in sandwiches or whatever, and aquafaba mayonnaise. I hope you enjoy it. See you next time, maybe.